my name's Kelly and I am a solution consultant with Echolocity. And today I'm going to walk you through how to create a report in Smartsheet. So the first thing I'm going to do is take you through how to create a report in Smartsheet from scratch. And then I'm going to show you how you can create a report in a quicker, more efficient way when you already have some reports built out. So here on my screen, you can see I have a folder with already some reports in here. I'm going to go create a new report. So I'm going to come over here in the top right-hand corner and click create, and I'm going to select report. And this report, I'm going to link to the implementation plan that I have. And I'm specifically interested in understanding or seeing what past due tasks I have. So that's what I'm going to title my report. I'm going to click on that. And what's really great about the report options is it kind of just takes you through step by step all the things that you need to do to build a report. And they're all right here along the top. So the first thing you need to do is indicate what is the source sheet for the report. Like, where are you pulling your data from, essentially? So I'm going to go into my right workspace. You can also search up here, but I'm going to go in here and grab my implementation plan and click OK. So that's the source that I have. Now I'm going to select my column. So it automatically pulls in the sheet name in the primary column. I want to understand percentage complete. I want to see who the tasks are, who the owner of the tasks are. I want to see the start date and the finish date. Let's see. I want to see when it was last modified and by who. I want to see the status, task health. Perfect. So now I have all the columns that I want, and you can type in up here as well. So let's say you were looking for another one. You can just simply start typing words in to kind of refine your search results. So like if I was looking for that client one, you can see it here and then I could check it off. Or you can just sort through and they are in alphabetical order. So those are all set. Then I need to filter my report so that I'm looking at what my intention is to, right? So the report is past due tasks. That's what I'm looking for. I need to set my filter criteria to match that. So a past due task in my eyes is a task where the finish date is in the past. There's a lot of options for all the different column types in filter criteria for Smartsheet reports. You can see here, there's a lot of options. Blank, greater than, less than, is in the future, is in the past, is in the next. You can do like is in the next 7 days, is in the last 7 days, all that good stuff. So for this one, I just simply need finishes in the past. And then I'm also going to need to know whether the task was completed, right? I don't need to see tasks that were already completed. I'm looking for tasks that were due in the past that have not been completed. So I'm going to use the percentage complete for that. You can use the status or percentage complete column in this type of example, depending on what your data looks like. So I could say status is not complete, but I like using the percentage complete. So I'm going to say the percentage complete is less than 1. Now, I do also have an option to group the data. So in this example, I wouldn't necessarily group this report, but for sake of example, I could do owner. So I could group it by owner so I can see, okay, how many past due tasks do I have per team member that has a past due task assigned to them? And then you can use the summarize option to then see how many without having to count yourself. So I'm going to then select owner for summarize. And I'm going to do a count. There is a sum option for some columns if it's a number value, but count will just tell me how many are in that grouping as long as there's a value there. So I can see that myself, I have 7 past due tasks in this plan. Lisa has 1. Now, there is also a sort option. So then you could, in this example, use the finish and sort oldest to newest. You can see really the oldest tasks that are past due. So for me, I have a task that was due, 3 weeks ago at this point. The last thing I'm going to do when I'm creating a report is then organize my report, right? So right now the columns are kind of all not necessarily in a logical order. I'm going to remove sheet name. If I was using a report that had multiple sheets in it, then I might use sheet name so it's easy to get to that. But in this report, I don't need that. I'm going to extend this so I can see it better. In a report, the primary column is going to be called primary, so you can double click and change the name. So I'm going to call it task name. And then I'm going to move my start and finish dates over. I'm going to resize these columns. I'm going to resize this, modified, and modified by. Usually put those at the end. Awesome. And save. So this is the final product of my report, building it from scratch. You don't have to apply a grouping or a summary or a sort, but I would say these first three are pretty critical for a report. You obviously need to set your source, and in Smartsheet, you can do a single source to a sheet or multiple sheets for a source. You can even select a workspace, which then allows you to pull in all sheets from that workspace. And then you're always going to need to select columns that you want to show, of course. And then the filter criteria is important because if you want to show all rows, then you can just look at the sheet itself, unless you are just trying to only show a specific number of columns. But typically you're going to use filter criteria in a report because the goal is to kind of filter down to a specific set of data that you're looking for. So that's how you create a report from scratch. Now, let's get into how I would create that report if I already had some reports built. So as you can see from building a report from scratch, some of the longest areas that take time are selecting what columns you want to show, reordering your columns, resizing them, really kind of just formatting it the way you want. If I already have a report, so I have a report due in the next 2 weeks, and it already has the columns that I'm looking for, potentially in the order I'm already looking for them in, they're resized appropriately based on the data set, I can just make a copy of this report and change the filters. So you can either open up the report and do it from the file and go to save as new, or right from the screen, I could have just right-clicked and said save as new. Now I'm still going to do another past due tasks report. Staying on that same example. Awesome, coming into this one. So as you can see right now, it's still showing the data from due in the next 2 weeks. And now all I need to do is go into the filters and change them. So finish is in the past. And in this report, we're actually using status. So I'll show you that as an example. Status is not one of completed or canceled. Perfect. So I'm going to click OK. And now I have all my past due tasks. And I already have my column set. I know this report doesn't look exactly like my other one. So let's just say I did want to make some minor changes. I still can, right? Okay, I still do want my modified and modified by columns. I can do that. I can add a grouping for that owner category, for example. And, you get where I'm going with this. But you can see it is a lot quicker to create from something you already have versus going from scratch. So we just wanted to show you those two different examples. I hope this was helpful for you all. Please don't hesitate to subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay up to date on any future videos that we post for Smartsheet.